Previously on Third and Roll.
Pressure's really on Toronto right now. I mean, after taking a series like that, now they hand you the ball and say, okay, that's what we did. Now what can you do?
Not a lot of luck for the Argos so far in this game.
What's a touchdown?
Spoken like a true Argos fan.
It is an age of Canadian football domination. In the West, the Edmonton Eskimos are a dynasty without equal. Behind the quarterback tandem of Tom Wilkinson and Warren Moon, the Eskimos won 5 consecutive Grey Cup championships between 1978 and 1982. In the East, 4 teams battle it out through a 6-game season to see who will meet Edmonton in the championship game. The Toronto Argonauts have not hoisted a Grey Cup since 1952. Will this be their year? Let's find out. This is Third and Roll.
Welcome to Third and Roll, a Canadian football board game podcast. This is the podcast where we play the 1985 board game Canadian Armchair Football and role play a broadcast from the 1980 season. My name is Spencer. This is my brother Alex.
Playoffs.
We are here. This is episode number 24. This is the 2-4 of Third and Roll, folks. We are here. It is the Eastern semifinal. The Argos are in a fight for their life. Let's take you now into the studio for the halftime show with Ron Booman and Brett Brannigan. Ron, take it away.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Booman. Welcome to the Canadian Armchair Football Halftime Show podcast. As we are at intermission in the great debate between these two parties, both have established their position. One party wants the ball to move in one direction, and the other party wants the ball to move in the other direction. There is no clear winner yet. Most of the pundits are saying Ottawa's getting the better hits so far, but there's plenty more to be debated. And now for one man's opinion on the subject, not just any man, it is Brett Brannigan.
Ron, I am livid. I am livid with the offensive performance here of the Toronto Argonauts. Where is future, hopefully, Hall of Famer Terry Greer? I don't feel like Eduard is ever really saying his name whatsoever. Mark Jackson has to stop handing off the ball, and he's got to start throwing the ball. He's got a great wide receiver out there. He's got to start making use of him. What really is curdling my milk is the performance of this Toronto Argos defense. I've not been counting the yards, but Ottawa's got to be well over 200 to 300 yards offense in the first half. Absolutely ridiculous. The Argo kicking game is pinning them deep, but then they're going all the way down the field, 80, 90, 100 yards. The Argos are lucky. They are lucky that they are not down by 21 points. Bruce Clark, Ron Southwick, even Preston Young, you guys gotta turn things around. I need some turnover, force some fumbles, get some interceptions. We gotta turn things around here in the second half if we don't want this 1980 season to end prematurely. Ron.
Well, thank you, Brett. And I see that the candidates are taking their positions on the podium, and it is time now to continue and conclude this great playoff debate. So we take you back to the booth with the commentators who will let you know how it goes on the field.
Well, thank you very much for that, Ron. We are getting ready to start the second half here. Ottawa with a 14-6 lead here at home in Lansdowne Park. So we have Jerry Organ getting on for the kickoff. We'll be kicking the ball off to Toronto, who will get an opportunity to start their comeback. The kick is up, and that is a 65-yard kick that will take the ball down to the Argos goal line.
I love when the play starts right at the goal line. Now they have to go all the way the full field, 110 yards, 220 cubits. Here we go.
And Preston Young on the return is able to pick up 20. So not his best return of the game so far, but not too shabby either.
So Brett had some pretty strong opinions about the course of the Argos offense should be taking now. We see Jackson, well, I'm trying to read the mystery of what he's going to do, but maybe I'll just wait and see.
He's got a mischievous smile on his face.
What's he building in there?
Jackson is going to going right back to their sweet spot. Going right back to the end run rush. And it's a loss of 4. Ooh.
That looked like it hurt.
Whatever Willie Wood thought he saw when he was reviewing his tables earlier in this game and thought that the end run was maybe some secret dagger that we could stuff into the chests of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Me, I knit violent imagery.
They clearly have discerned it. They must have chainmail on underneath their uniform because those piercing instruments are not getting through.
Excellent metaphor there, Edward. I love to have a good suit of chainmail on if I'm in danger of getting pierced.
And pierce you're a bee. Yeah, you heard me say it. Yes, sir. Pierce you're a bee.
I grew up around a lot of chainmail when I was growing up in London, and I like to bring it up whenever I can. So we've got Jackson going, he's spotting Greer, he's going for a long pass, and it's busted coverage there by the Ottawa Rough Riders. Greer has the ball, that's a 25-yard pickup, and the ball is out. Greer. He is not making Brett Brannigan proud whatsoever. Greer with the fumble on the play, and it is recovered by the Ottawa Rough Riders. Robert Sparks was there. He recovered after his broken coverage, came back, stripped the ball, and dived on it. Wow.
You know, that ugly feeling is coming back to the field, and listen to the sound of that crowd. They're cheering, but there's a hint of mocking laughter as the confidence of Ottawa here soaring, almost dismissing the Argos.
What ho there, listener. Edward Welch here. Welcome back to my parlor. Please, have a seat. So I've told you of my times at Eton, how I was not able to play for the rugby team there, and how I came to learn of a different type of rugby being played in the colonies. I've said a little bit about how I got into broadcasting doing the morning announcements in my primary school. But what I have not touched on is the origin of my time doing play-by-play for sports. Now, you may know at Eton there is a game that is quite creatively referred to as the wall game. It's a game played next to a long wall, a slightly curved brick wall, first erected in 1717. There is a strip of grass that runs along this wall. It's known as the furrow. It is 110 meters long. And just like the rugby we know and love, and the football we know and love, the aim of the game is to move the ball from my end of the field down to your end of the field. Into the calcs. You can earn a shy, which is worth 1 point, by lifting the ball against the wall with your foot, and then another teammate touches the ball with his hand and shouts, "Got it!" That is a shy. Similar to the drop kick, anytime during the course of play, a player can kick the ball towards the goal, and if he hits that garden door at one end or hits the tree at the other end, that's worth 5 points. But here is the thing about the wall game. It is madness. It is madness and chaos, as it is a group of young boys all pressed up against the side of one wall. You do not have space to kick. You barely have enough space to breathe. It is a madhouse of pushing, shouting, grabbing, pinching, hitting. And it was there, sit atop this wall, I, alone, was calling out the plays as it happened. Reading through that chaotic scramble, I knew all the names, I knew all the numbers, and as I kept talking, I noticed my classmates were moving closer and closer to me on the wall, and that is when I thought there might be something there. I need to explore sports broadcasting.
So we have Holloway back out onto the field looking to lead his Ottawa Rough Riders into the Eastern Final. He's handing it off to Crump for a run from option. And that is an incredible 15-yard pickup there for the Rough Riders. They continue to move about this field at whim as though there is no resistance whatsoever.
That is why you fail.
And Holloway, it's a pass to Crump. Crump with 17 yards and then picks and then tries to go a bit further, and Preston Young brings him down. So that's 17 yards through the air, a loss of 4 after the reception. But that's still a net of 13 yards. That will bring up a 1st and 10 Ottawa from the Argos 13-yard line.
This is Jamal Campbell, number 67, offensive tackle from the Toronto Argonauts. You're listening to Third and Roll, a Canadian football board game podcast.
Holloway, it's the pitch out to Crump. And Bruce Clark. Bruce Clark finds Crump in the backfield and says, "No, thank you, sir."
It's what I'm talking about.
Crump, more like a crumpet. I'll have that with my tea, he said. So that brings up 2nd and 16 for Ottawa. Holloway going for a pass. And he is trapped. He is being chased down by Bruce Clark. Brings him down for a sack. Wow, Norman, that puts him back all the way to the Ottawa 35-yard line. How many yards did he lose there on that play?
We're now looking at a 3rd and 31.
Wow.
Push back 15 yards and then knocked down.
Wow.
That is a sack and a half.
So from the Argos 34-yard line, Ottawa needs to get down to the Toronto 2 for a first down. They are not going for it. We got Jerry Organ coming out onto the field for the field goal. This would be a 40-yard field goal. Pick is up. And it's good. And it's good.
Big stop there by the Toronto defense to avert total disaster.
But the Argos, they need to start scoring touchdowns. They are now down 17-6 with 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
This is Chad Owens, the Flying Hawaiian and former receiver for the Toronto Argonauts. You're listening to Third and Roll, a Canadian football board game podcast.
Jerry Organ on for the kickoff. That ball is down to the Argos 10-yard line. And it's a 25-yard pickup from Preston Young. So the Argos will take over at the 35-yard line.
So now it's time to pretend that last sequence didn't even happen. And we're starting off here. Got the ball. Every time you get that new offensive possession, it's just like a fresh start. Anything can happen. 1st and 10, new possession. What's going to happen? Let's make a drive out of it.
It's a brand new day.
So looking down there at the sidelines, Willie Wood looks as though he's got into a bit of a fugue state. He has taken off. He's taken off his headphones. He is no longer going to be listening to the offensive coordinator. He is going to see what he sees at field level, and he's going to trust himself and his players, and he is going to go now for a pass from option. So Jackson, again, looking to take advantage of a great receiver, Terry Greer. And Greer is open. But Robert Sparks comes back with the coverage, and that pass is incomplete.
Second down.
Ottawa defense kind of rubbing it in there, just letting him know, like, no, nothing. We're giving you nothing.
Well played, sir.
So Willie Wood is looking up to the heavens. He was a part of a fantastic play in Super Bowl I that we will talk about at some point. And he is hoping for another miracle here today. He is going back to Metcalf for an end run to the right-hand sideline. And Metcalf delivers. Whoa, Metcalf. He gives Willie Wood a nice little wave as he passes him on the sideline. That was a pickup of 25 yards there on the play. That's going to be a
first down, Toronto.
They are on to the Ottawa side of the field. They are at the Ottawa 50-yard line.
Nice climate you have here.
So Argos going to Metcalf. Looks as though it's going to be a reverse. Oh, it's a fake reverse. They actually hand it off to Greer. And Greer picks up 5 yards there on the play. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 5 from the Ottawa 45-yard line. So Willie Wood really going for it all here.
Well, it's getting a little bit repetitive of me to just keep saying it's a big second down, but look where we find ourselves.
2nd and 5 from the Ottawa 45-yard line.
Take all the second downs you need.
Handing it off to Metcalf. It's an off-right tackle. Argos clearly think they are in 3-down territory. And he gets stopped for no gain. It's going to be 3rd and 5 from the Ottawa 45-yard line. Norman, what are you thinking here? This would be a kick from the 45-yard line.
It's a long kick, but with 5 yards to go, and I wouldn't want to just leave the ball this part of the field. I'd go for the points. I would kick the ball here.
Willie Wood has made his decision. He thinks it's still early in the game. He wants to get back to within a touchdown. So Zenon is coming out onto the field for the field goal. This is going to be a long one for Zenon. This would be a 52-yard field goal.
Zenon's retying his shoe, making sure it's all properly laced up there.
You need to make sure your plant foot is secure. So here we go. This would bring the Argos to within 8 points. The kick is up. Looks as though Willie Wood was down there at the goal line. He was appealing to the officials, saying, I thought that was through the uprights. They are saying, no, sir. No, sir. You should not even be talking to me. This is really a breach of decorum, because they know where to stick the dagger, because they know that Willie Wood is all about maintaining decorum.
Please, please, please don't be mad at me.
It's making for a very entertaining mime show here, because he's kind of like making the uprights with his arms and kind of gesturing. No, it's that side of the uprights, that side of the uprights. And then the officials are waving in the other direction. No, it's outside, and kind of gesturing the image of a ball going beside the upright. And it's that side. It's not the other side. It's the other side.
I don't even know what I'm talking about!
So that kick was wide, and Ottawa concedes the single point. So the Argos are down by 10 points at this point. It is 17-7 Ottawa with 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Greetings from the desk of Dr. Footius Ballunicus. The game of football has often been at odds with the local civil authorities, as happened in the winter of 1659 to 1660 in the city of York. A football game resulted in a broken church window. The city council took action, and the borough court, presided over by the mayor, prosecuted 11 players, imposing fines of 20 shillings each. The result was one of the first recorded football riots. At 5 o'clock on the same day, a crowd of over 100 people assembled in warlike manner with halberds, swords, muskets, fowling pieces, and other guns and weapons. They marched on the mayor's house and forced their way in. When order was restored, a commission was established to identify and punish the rioters, with the chief actor in the riot fined £10.
We are back. So after conceding the single point, Ottawa will have a first down from their own 35-yard line. Ottawa trying to steal from the Toronto playbook. Holloway going for an end run to Crump. And Crump picks up 10. Maybe they figured something out there as well, so it's Ottawa again having no trouble getting first downs.
Just another normal day at the office, isn't it?
Holloway holding onto the ball, looks as though he's going for a screen pass to Gabriel. That ball is complete for 5 yards. And Gabriel breaks the tackle. He's into the second level, the third level, and he gets brought down at the Argos 5-yard line. Wow, this Ottawa offense is explosive, and or this Argos defense is implosive. Wow, what a crumble here in the latter half of the 1980 season. They need to turn it around. There are only 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
You're listening to Third and Roll.
So it's first and goal, Ottawa. Ottawa hands the ball off to Crump, and Crump busts it into the end zone. That is another touchdown there for the Ottawa Rough Riders. I almost said Argos, but it's been so long since I said the Argos scored a touchdown. Wow, these Ottawa Rough Riders, they are emboldened by these hometown fans. And Jerry Organ on for the extra point. Kick is up. It is good. So with that, they now have a commanding 17-point lead with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
This is James Franklin, quarterback for the Toronto Argonauts, and you're listening to Third and Roll, the Canadian Football Board Game Podcast.
So Jerry Organ on for the kickoff. And that kick goes all the way down to the Toronto 5-yard line where Preston Young is waiting to return. Can he return these Toronto Argonauts back into competency? Let us see. And it's a reasonable 20-yard pickup there. So that's going to be
First down, Toronto.
From their own 25-yard line.
Well, it's deep water for the Argos now. Territory where anything goes. It's all or nothing. Backs to the wall. Insert your metaphor here. Now's the time.
It's showtime.
We have Mark Jackson coming out onto the field. He's going for a short pass. And that ball is incomplete. The Argos have been having no luck whatsoever with these rules.
Don't you see what's going on? Newman is planning a sneak attack.
Not going great for them today, folks. 2nd and 10 from their own 25-yard line.
Looks like Willie Wood is calling for a dice inspector to make sure that there's no waiting going on here.
I'm not beaten yet. I still have armies in the Ukraine.
What's this? He has called for a new set of dice. This is unprecedented. Unprecedented. From Willie Wood, he is turning over his dark blue, his Oxford blue dice. He's handing them back off to the referee. And he, in return, is taking out his light blue, his Cambridge blue dice. Let's see if this makes the difference here with a minute remaining in the third quarter. Jackson. Going for the long pass. Looking for Greer. And he underthrew the ball there, and Robert Sparks came in and picked it off. That is an interception there, and Greer turns around and drags Sparks to the ground. So Sparks only picks up 1 yard on the interception return, but still, it's going to be a 1st and 10 Ottawa from the Toronto 39-yard line. There are less than a minute remaining in the third quarter.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Coming up now, we have our interview man, Todd Gray, in conversation with the great Toronto Argonauts defensive back and kick returner, Preston Young. Todd, take it away. Now, Preston, you, like many of the Toronto Argonauts players, as, well, frankly, mandated by the Canadian Armchair Football League, you are a Canadian. Tell me, have you always wanted to play football?
Well, Todd, I never really thought about it, I grew up in the prairies. When I look at a big field, I still think wheat. I don't see grass. I look at a giant field of grass and I see a wasted opportunity. There's so much potential to cultivate that great grain that feeds our cities, that is distilled into that great drink, rye whiskey. So you asked me when I was growing up, did I think I was going to vote? No, I wanted to be a farmer like my father and a distiller like my uncle. I get to see the whole life cycle of planting the seeds in the morning, reaping the harvest at noon, and then having a nice drink in the evening. The whole cycle, all the way through. I couldn't think of anything better than that. I was out there baling some hay. And watching a flock of sheep when a rather well-dressed man and his very well-dressed wife came by on the road, and I saw they were looking at me, and they were looking over in my general direction. I didn't know what it was about. And then I looked back, and I saw that one of the goats had gotten away from the herd. And I just took off. I took off right after that goat. And you know what? My father used to always tell this to me, that whenever you want to herd a goat, you can't just go right at it. You can't go right at it. You got to work your angles. You got to approach with an angle because you want to steer them back. You want to steer them back towards the rest of the flock. And so I took a real nice curved angle on this goat, and I got right up into him, and I really almost literally locked horns with him and brought that sheep under control. And then once I had my arms around him, that sheep knew he had nowhere to go but back into the flock. So I gave him a little pat on the head, and I said, "You get right back in there, buddy." This man, this well-dressed man and his wife, he was waving me over, and he said, "Boy," I didn't like being called boy. "With vision like that, you could be a defensive back." Now, I didn't know what that word was. I knew what the word defensive, and I knew what a back was, but together it made no sense to me. And he said, "The way you steered that goat back towards its flock, this is what you can do on a football field to steer a receiver back into coverage, back towards your fellow players on the team." And that's all it stood with me. You know, I don't know if it comes across sometimes, but a lot of the time when I'm out there in the football field, I'm really just thinking about goats, you know, and I get competitive. How competitive can you be with a goat? A goat's going to do what a goat's going to do, and if I'm going to be shepherding this flock, I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for that, Preston. That's really a whole different approach.
So Ottawa, being conservative here, hands it off to Crump, makes it up the middle and picks up 4 yards, brings up 2nd and 6.
Second down, Ottawa Rough Riders.
Going for a draw play now. And Bruce Clark meets them at the line of scrimmage, so that's no gain. And so we have Jerry Organ coming out onto the field. From the 36-yard line, this would be a 43-yard field goal. The kick is up. And the kick is wide. The kick is wide, and the Argos concede a single point. They are now down by 18 points.
So after that little interlude, the Argos are back, 1 point to the worse, but now they're ready to try this again.
Your eyes are full of hate. That's good. Hate keeps a man alive. It gives him strength.
First down, Toronto.
From their own 35-yard line, they are handing it off to Metcalf. It's a pitch out.
Well, look at those Cambridge blue dice fly.
Wow. Metcalf. He's out to the left-hand sideline. Metcalf. He is past Mike Raines. He is past the Ottawa Rough Rider linebacker, Rick Suita. He is into the secondary. Even Robert Sparks can't bring him down. And he is into the end zone. It's a touchdown, Toronto Argonauts! Argos! And these Toronto Argos fans who made it all the way here to be here for the Eastern semifinals, they are up, they are loving it. We can hear them all the way up here in the booth, Norman. Wow.
What a moment. It doesn't matter what the situation is in the game. There's always a chance to break through and make something happen, and it happened right there.
So that will be the final play of the quarter. We've got Zenon Andrushishin on for the extra point.
Zenon Andrushishin.
The kick is up, and it's good. And it's good. So with that, it is going to be 25-14 for
Ottawa.
Ottawa will get the ball to start the fourth quarter, but the Argos, with a little bit of momentum there on one heck of a play. Norman, was that a 60-yard run there? That was just incredible. What a play there by Metcalf. I hope we see more of those in the fourth quarter.
I lost track of the number of yards there. He just kept running until they told him to stop.
Next time on Third and Roll.
I say shut up! It's a madhouse! A madhouse!
Third and Roll is an independent Canadian football board game podcast recorded in Toronto, Ontario in 2020. Today's episode features the voices of Spencer, Alex, and Subi.
This works for me.
Thanks, Subi. This episode was edited by
Spencer Adams from Toronto.
Our cover art was illustrated by Bryce Hall. If you'd like to support the show, please tell a friend or leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher you use. You can reach us on Twitter at Third and Roll or by email at thirdandroll, all one word, @gmail.com. Our theme music is Magic Mountain by Jazzar, used through a Creative Commons Attribution license at freemusicarchive.org. New episodes every Wednesday. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Third and Roll.
I'm not an afterthought, Spencer, but I'll move on.